All right, welcome to Willow Legal Group's Coffee Chat. We are here this week with Leah Bradley, the Executive Director of Empowering the Ages. Leah is the Executive Director and co-founder of Empowering the Ages. She has extensive experience connecting older and younger generations, including providing nationwide training and technical assistance to practitioners establishing intergenerational initiatives. Try to say that 3 times fast. She has visioned, planned, and implemented many intergenerational programs throughout Montgomery County. And she's a licensed social worker, having earned her Master of Social Work degree at the University of Michigan with a concentration in interpersonal practice and gerontology. Is that right? So welcome, Leah.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
I will say, if I would have realized that you went to Michigan, I may not have invited you on this podcast.
Are you a Ohio State person?
I am. We can fight later.
Sounds good.
I'm learning it is a cult.
Yes, it is a cult.
100%. Yes. But it's fun. It's fun.
It's fun rivalry.
Yeah. So Leah, tell us a little bit about Empowering the Ages.
Sure, happy to. So Empowering the Ages was founded in fall of 2019 with the goal of having an organization that was solely focused on connecting older and younger generations and ensuring that the strengths of everyone, no matter what age or ability level, was able to be utilized to benefit lives as well as the larger community. So we started just before the pandemic hit, and then during the pandemic focused a lot on social isolation and loneliness for older individuals as well as teenagers. And then when we were able to do more in person, we expanded our work to school readiness, workforce development, as well as empowering connections between older and younger generations.
Yeah. So, in full disclosure, I am on the board of Empowering the Ages, and it has been amazing to watch these programs come together and to watch and hear, right, some of the feedback that we get from the participants and things that you wouldn't think of, right? So, like the teenagers talking about how, they weren't becoming relatable, right, to the older adults that come in. So there's a program where older adults and high school students talk about civics, right, and what's going on in the world, and having that connection, right? And I think, Leah, we hear a lot about both sides getting that different perspective and going, okay, I can see what it's like being in someone else's shoes.
Yeah, a lot of what we do with especially the teenagers and adults is try to reduce those age stereotypes, which everybody has. And a lot of that is just recognizing that adults are assuming positive and negative things about teenagers, and the teenagers are doing the exact same. And so I always laugh when I do preparation with either generation. And part of that preparation before the work is saying, okay, let's do it. Let's just get all your stereotypes out on the table. And the first many with the teenagers talking about older adults are super negative. And the first many with the older adults talking about the teenagers are super negative. And then when you realize you can take things like they're bad drivers or they have no patience, and we could be describing either generation those stereotypes. So there's a lot more in common than anyone thinks initially.
That's pretty funny. I was actually trying to think like, wait, which one said that?
Yeah. Well, I was like, I could say that about both of them, right?
Yes, exactly. And when you really think about it, there are so many of those that, especially those of us in the middle generation, the three of us could say with both generations. So it's just a way of saying, all right, let's figure out what we have in common, what is different, but then how can we make those differences something that we really focus on and enjoy?
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit, or tell us a little bit about how those types of connections and those experiences get to the reducing isolation and kind of helping people with that connection?
Absolutely. So all of our programs focus on that in some way or another. So we have a school readiness program that primary goal is to help pre-K and Head Start students become kindergarten ready and help their families learn how to advocate for their kids in the school system and how to navigate a very large school system. But at the same time, our volunteers in that program are all active adults that are looking for ways to give back to their community. And so they take this opportunity to volunteer, see their little kid and their family weekly on Zoom, attend Zoom meetings with other volunteers that are interested in the same things and have that same commitment to their community as they do. And so a lot of the volunteer opportunities, such as that one, really give adults an opportunity to have meaningful events in their schedule every week and reasons and topics to interact with others and little stories to share and reasons to call friends and say, oh my gosh, you will not believe what these pre-K kids are expected to do these days. So a lot of the programming allows the adults to benefit just as much as the kids and families, which is how we shape all of our work. That mutual benefit and that reciprocity is critical.
Yeah. And I think having someone to help parents navigate, and Lindsay's got a pre-K starting kindergarten, and just like learning how to navigate the school system, right? As someone who knows how to navigate it, or at least has grown up in this school system, it can be really confusing.
It can. And if you're in Montgomery County Public Schools, it's one of the largest school systems in the country. Mm-hmm. So it's really hard to navigate. And for many families, they didn't grow up in this area of the country or in this country. And so everyone's experiences with schools is very different depending on their background and their own personal experiences, no matter where they went to school. And so that's just a component that we feel really benefits the kids. And because of that, we have our volunteers move on to kindergarten with the kids. And so the volunteer program is 2 years. And so the volunteers work with the kids and their families for their pre-K Head Start year. And then they transition into kindergarten with the kid and family too, because a lot of times there's extra supports that happen in that pre-K year that just doesn't happen when you're part of the K through 5 component of the school. So having a friendly face, someone who cares, a third member or fourth member of that team to help the kid be successful is really nice. I mean, I would have liked if someone wanted to help me navigate as a first-time parent in the school system.
Yeah. I mean, I have a first grader also, and I'm forever asking Megan, she's got a middle schooler. I'm like, wait, so what do I do? How does this work? My kid needs money for lunch. How do I do that? Like, so that would have been.
And what we find is that in some cases, sort of like, wait, what is a field trip? Should I really let my kid on a bus with a bunch of other kids and I'm not there? And is that safe? Is that something that happens here in this county? And so we have an opportunity to answer some of those questions through the volunteers who can say, yeah, we've checked it out. It's legit. Send your kid on that field trip to the zoo.
Yes.
Yeah. I think parent-teacher conferences, right? Because volunteers sometimes will help attend parent-teacher conferences and navigate the beginning of that. And even after 7 years of parent-teacher conferences, sometimes I'm like, I don't know. I know I'm supposed to show up and ask questions, but
yes, we do have some materials for some suggested topics you might want to discuss in a parent-teacher conference. And with all of that, our staff meets with all the volunteers, and the volunteers have the relationships one-on-one with the parents and the kid. So really, the better those relationships are, the more they can say, okay, let's plan ahead of time for that parent-teacher conference. Or in one case a few years ago, a parent was trying to work up her nerve to contact the teacher and ask a question. And she felt bad because she knew the teachers are really busy and maybe she shouldn't contact. And so the volunteer worked very closely with this parent, crafted an email, was on the phone when she hit send, and then the volunteer called the staff and said, guess what had happened? I mean, we were all cheering that email got sent, because for some people it's just natural to know how to advocate for their child, and for others it takes that extra hand-holding and encouragement to say it's okay and there are ways to do it.
Yeah. So, and learning now, right, in kindergarten. So then
that's the hope.
We go forward.
And then by the time the kid is in high school, parents are still going to back to school night. That's what we are hoping, is that, because we know all the research says that when parents are involved in their kids' education, the kids are more likely to graduate from high school. And so hopefully we're starting early enough to help those parents out. And then we're also helping with that school readiness. I mean, we provide Chromebooks and books and puppets and math cubes and flashcards that the volunteers get a set and the kids get a set, and they work on it over Zoom. And we're hoping all those tools will make these kids kindergarten ready and school ready, so that they are really on track for a successful academic career.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know that there's something special going on this summer. You want to talk a little bit about new summer programming?
Yeah. So this summer we are launching for the first time Camp ETA, an opportunity for grandparents to attend a camp for 5 mornings over the course of a week in July with their grandchildren ages 5 through 10. And so just really forming memories, and we're going to have very talented staff of Empowering the Ages who are doing activities, and there's going to be all kinds of fun experiences for grandparents and grandchildren this summer. So we're really excited about that, and all the information is up on our website. If anyone is interested in attending, we would love to have them. It's going to be located in Rockville at our ETA offices, and we're really, really excited.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think one of the hardest things, right, is having your kids go see their grandparents. And my kid didn't get that because he had to fly across the country. But but you get these kids as an older adult, right? And what do you do to entertain them? I'm even often like, gosh, I have to entertain you, and we're home with all the toys, right? And all the
right.
So having someone to help facilitate those activities and memories and all of that, I think is really special, and I think it'll be a great opportunity, right?
And we're hoping there's some role modeling happening at that point, so that grandparents are able to take that, whatever, whether it be songs or art projects or whatever it is. We're going to be doing some investigative tools and scavenger hunts, and we're going to be trying to do all kinds of activities that will encourage grandparents to have some of those ideas to do at home, because we have heard from many grandparents, both those that are volunteers and others, that it can be intimidating to fill those hours. You're asked to babysit, and then you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? What's going to make that child want to come back and spend time with me? How do I make this time meaningful? Because it's all different when you don't have the parents in the room. You have an opportunity to form an individual bond when the parent isn't there getting in the middle. And so, yeah, we're hoping that everyone steps away feeling really good about memories formed, but also gaining skills to enhance their own relationships at home.
I'm thinking back to when my grandparents would watch me, and their version of entertainment was watching Price is Right and The Young and the Restless with them. So
Young and the Restless, how old were you at the time?
We had to watch the stories. They watched whatever channel Young and the Restless was on. We watched them all. It was summertime.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Things that probably a little person should not be watching.
Probably not, but luckily I probably didn't understand any of it. But oh yes, I could probably still pull some of those names out of my head if I really tried. But yeah, that was.
And that shows you how grandparent time you spent with your grandparents sticks in your memory, and you can remember what you did with them.
Yep.
And so, yeah, we're really excited at this opportunity because we haven't done a lot of programming within families. Mm-hmm. Most of our time has been spent connecting older and younger in the community because not everyone has local grandparents or local grandchildren. So for us, it's exciting to try something new that's focused within families. So
yeah.
Wow. If Caleb was younger, I'd offer him if we had any volunteers to be a grandchild for someone, but
we do. We've had a number of volunteers who just asked if they can come. Like, not without a grandchild. Sorry. You can bring another kid in the community, but you can't come as just an adult.
So, Leah, if somebody wanted to get involved, I know you talked about volunteering, but as far as being part of the program, what types of people, or how do you get registered? Is there age limits? Kind of, what are you looking for?
Yeah, good question. In terms of the youth or young adults, we work with groups. So we work with Montgomery County Recreation Department and schools and other types of after-school organizations. And periodically we have student learning opportunities. So we do put those up on Montgomery County Volunteer Center if teenagers want to volunteer. In terms of the adult side, we have lots of opportunities to get involved in our programs. And the restriction is age 50 and over for the adults. And all of that can be found on our website. We do promote through multiple ways in the county that promote volunteer opportunities. And then we also have some programming where we have like a youth orchestra who goes into 2 adult day centers, as well as some independent living communities during the course of the year. And so that we're able to have them perform and converse and get to know residents month after month. So we do have other ways to get involved with some of the older adult living communities also.
Oh, cool. Okay, thank you.
So what's one piece of advice that you wish more people understood when it comes to these intergenerational relationships and connections?
I wish that people understood the power of the relationships and connections. I think there's an assumption that people don't want to talk or connect with people that aren't the same age. But what we find is that gaining different perspectives is really life-changing. And we hear that from the younger and the older folks that are just glad to hear that. For older individuals, I hear all the time that spending time with teenagers makes them feel very hopeful about the future in a way that they didn't before they had regular interactions. And for teenagers, we hear the same thing. There is hope for their future when they hear about how adults have navigated challenging times in their own life and in history, and they're still here to talk about it. And so we hear about the hope that comes from those conversations regularly, and that's super powerful. But I don't think anyone realizes that a lot of people really want to talk to someone that is not living the same life that they are living day to day.
Yeah, I think it's hard to have those conversations unless it's through some sort of organized event, group, something.
Because for the most part, we're all age segregated. I mean, no matter what age we are, we spend most of our time with people of the same age. Or, as I hear from teenagers all the time, when they're around adults that are telling them what to do. So it's rare to have an opportunity to have that kind of interaction with an adult who's not telling them what to do and how to do it. So it doesn't happen often, just in how we live our lives.
Yeah.
Great point.
So what's one item you can't live without in your day-to-day life?
I guess it would be cliche to say my phone. So, what a good question. I would have to say I'm on a coffee chat, my coffee.
Fair. Yeah, I think that's what ends up for both of us.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
Awesome. Anything that we didn't cover that you wanted to make sure we shared?
Just that there are a lot of opportunities out there through us or through other organizations. And I really think it's important for people to continually see things from other perspectives. And so I do encourage those that are listening to reach out to Empowering the Ages and see about getting involved with us. There's many opportunities to do that, but just in general, just to be continually open to learning from and teaching people of another generation.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you. It was great chatting with you and sharing about everything that ETA does.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you both for having me.
Have a great day.